It's all backwards from what it used to be. We're back. Back in action here. We've got K-Rob performing music for our show. We've got David Capuro over here operating the internet.
Hey man, sit down. Sit down. Get out of the way. What are you doing?
Ed Holmes is stealing the thunder. What Ed Holmes does, he comes and ruins your show. He comes in, stands up at the front, and waves his arms around like a dipshit. That's what he does. Show. Look at me, Ed Holmes, look at me. Sit down, man. Okay. How many people go to public parks here in San Francisco? I don't know if you know this, but the director of the San Francisco Park and Recreation Department has announced publicly that it is his firm intention to remove the Park and Rec Department from the general fund and to turn RPD, Parks and Rec Department, into a private organization that he will direct. You got enough questions there? You really want a shot at Fernet, don't you? This is no laughing matter, ladies and gentlemen. This man is planning on taking our Parks Department and turning it into a for-profit business that he's going to run. How's that sound?
How do we stop it?
That's the thing. You can't. You cannot stop it. It's designed without oversight. And there's no review, and there's no appeal to any decision that they make. For Lafayette, there's no term limits on these particular appointments, although on other appointments there are term limits where you can't be removed before a certain amount of time. So let's say you perform at the pleasure of the mayor, and then you're doing things against the mayor, then he just gets rid of you like that. They have these things called term limits where you go in there, you serve for 2 years so that you can't be removed. So if you're going against the will of the blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, it's really, really bad. You can visit takebackourparks.org. And right now we're just in the bitching and kvetching stage because there's really nothing we can do at this point in time. But just sign up on the website and you can get information. It's really, really interesting watching democracy erode. Like you know, it's been happening for a decade or more or whatever like that. But like here we are at the cusp, we're like actually watching decisions that are going to get made that are going to change things in some pretty substantial ways. You know, in Union Square, anybody been to Union Square Park in New York City? You know it's gone, and it's a 5-star restaurant now? What? Yeah. It's just not there anymore. There's no park there anymore. It's a 5-star restaurant. Yeah, gone. Just like that. And they're talking about putting a wastewater treatment plant next to the soccer stadium that will take up 39% of Golden Gate Park. And you've never even heard of this. A wastewater treatment plant in Golden Gate Park. Are you kidding me? Isn't this weird? So anyhow, we're gonna move on with our show here. A different view, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna have a different view. We're gonna look into the future. And in the future, we'll be in space, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be in space with Pete Goldie. And here Pete Goldie is with his 5-minute mission. Here with the tackle Science Space Report.
Nice segue.
No one noticed but you, Ed. No one.
Hi, chicken.
Don't look at me. You're supposed to look at them. See how I'm looking at them, and you keep looking at me?
Can you look at this?
I don't see anything. It's the Space Science Report.
It's not on.
Jesus.
Hey, chicken, look, it's on.
Okay, now that you've ruined the show,
And it begins with a picture of something in space where I also put the title up of my segment, which is called the Space Science Report. And there it is, today's date. And this is a real picture taken from the International Space Station by the Japanese astronaut there who actually knows how to use a camera. The very first astronaut who knows how to use a camera. Just so the astronauts have something to do besides drink Tang and use new machine that turns their urine into tank. This is the Aurora Borealis on the northern part of the planet Earth, looping around the polar region. Now, the space station doesn't fly through it because that would be dangerous, but it gets close enough to take some nice photographs if you have a really good Japanese camera. And now I want to show you something you've never seen before. Next image, David Kapoor.
I've seen that before.
What is it?
It's your butt.
It's the moon. Correct. The moon.
You see that arrow? Does everybody see the arrow? It's in the middle. It's red-ish. Right there.
Okay, you see that it's reddish there?
It's very important that you look at where the arrow is because it's indicating something of note that happened in the geographic region.
Happened on the moon right there.
What happened, Pete? Is that where nothing has ever happened?
That's the one place where nothing happened. Actually, that is a very special place. That's a unique place, unlike any other spot on the entire moon. That spot is the, ready for this?
I'm ready.
The highest elevation on the moon.
Whoa!
That is 10,786 meters above the average surface height of the moon, whatever that is. Not above sea level, no seas on the moon. Mars doesn't make mountains like this. They don't have the tectonic force, but they have a very high thing. It's a volcano.
But why is the thing that we're showing in our show not interesting? Why?
Because it's the moon. It's different. That's why it's, you see, the fact that it's not interesting is interesting. I want to show you this picture now in context. The next image there. You see the arrow here?
No. Even the arrow sucks.
That's fake. There are no words on the moon.
Right. Can we get a new projector now? I have some very high resolution images.
A new projector would help.
Yes, that's the arrow. That's the same spot there. If you zoom out, you see it's between two impact craters. And yeah, the only reason that that's the highest point on the moon is there's no mountains, no mountain-forming regions, there's no tectonics. It's just where some stuff was pushed up from two impact craters. Bang. A few dozens of millions of miles away is Mars. And orbiting Mars are two moons. One of those is Phobos. This is the moon Phobos orbiting Mars.
It looks like a potato.
Yeah, it looks like a potato. And it's very different, again, from our moons. Why? Because it's a very small moon. It's probably a captured asteroid of some sort. Phobos and Deimos are, fear and disappointment, frustration.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all feeling a little bit of that here at the show.
It's different because it's smaller and closer, and they have eclipses of the moon every day, all the time going on, except they only last a few seconds. They pass over very quickly, and nobody really cares about them because no one lives there. Let's go out to Saturn and one of the moons, a moon of Saturn, taken by this fabulous spaceship I'm outlining right here, the Cassini orbiter, there. And you can see it's here, yet still it gets great shots of the moon of Saturn, Enceladus. There. I'm really surprised this thing survived. We haven't been back here doing a show in about a year, and it's still up there. How does that happen? Yeah, now this shag rug here with a big furrow in it, that's actually one of the so-called tiger stripes that have the geysers on them on Enceladus. They're hard to explain why they're so hot. Anyway, they had another recent flyby of Enceladus. The flyby happened in August 13th, since we had our last Dr. Hal show. That's why I'm blabbing on about it. They measured the temperature of the hot geysers there. Now that's an infrared image superimposed over the shots of those gullies. They're so-called sulci on the moon of Enceladus. You know what yellow means?
Caution.
Hot. That's right. That's 190 degrees Kelvin, or, about 120 degrees below Fahrenheit. Because everything else around it is about 40 degrees Kelvin, or about minus 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And they're squirting out water into the atmosphere, creating one of the rings, the faint ring of Saturn, called the E ring. Proof, it's hot in the crack.
So it's hot there in the crack.
That's correct.
On the rug.
Yes, that's why I pointed that out. Now, another very interesting thing happened a couple of weeks ago. If you are a regular attendee of the Space Science Report of the Ask Dr. Hal show, you're familiar with a mission where we sent a spacecraft to send an impactor onto the surface of a comet, Tempel 1. And that mission worked very successfully. Well, they repurposed the spacecraft. It went to another comet, this comet being called Hartley 2. It finally reached After many, many years, 2 flybys of Earth adjusting its orbit, it reached partly 2 and got some great shots. As you can see, this comet is...
It looks like it's wrapped in bacon.
That's a good observation. I'd like to point out the bacon-wrapped area there differs from the dumbbell areas on the far end, and they in fact are of different compositions. You notice the far end here under this exposure is showing lots of streamers coming off of the comet's surface. Very important. They're actually snowballs of ice and carbon dioxide, dry ice, coming off of the ends of it. And the middle part, wrapped in bacon there, is actually pure water ice and water vapors coming off the middle. Because why would it show the International Space Station in the background? Yeah, they put that on for a size comparison.
Wait a minute, that's Darth Vader.
That's a TIE fighter.
No, it could be, but it's actually the International Space Station. If it was Darth Vader's thing, it would be smaller than the size of this laser beam here. If it was, but they would have a picture of
Darth Vader can make his fucking spaceship any size he wants.
That is in a galaxy far, far away.
Force, man.
No, that's not. It's in a long, long time ago and far, far away. There you go.
Away! See, I told you.
Are you afraid of me now? 9. Okay, let's show number 9. Now this is a series of shots. It's actually showing the chunks of fluffy, dry ice moving through space and that fly off of that comet. And they're just, a few frames going back and forth, so you can actually see the motion of the individual fluffy snowballs flying off the surface of that.
Did I ever tell you about the time we had a snowball fight at the Odeon?
Oh, that was awesome, chicken.
We took a U-Haul truck to Truckee and brought a U-Haul truck of snow back, and we were having a snowball fight on Mission Street when the cops came. See how
it was like you were 8-year-olds in your own bar.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, this also is tracking individual particles of fluffy dry ice and water ice as they're being thrown throughout.
So hold on here. We're now tracking fluffy particles of ice.
Yes.
How much did this cost to track these 3 fluffy particles of ice?
Free. It's virtually free. Millions of dollars.
So how is this helping the plight of mankind, knowing that one specific piece of fluff is going from over here to over there?
Well, doesn't it look like they're all going in different directions? It's like they're all going in different directions. There's like no order to the fluffy stuff coming off of the comet. But they're very lightweight, but they're very fluffy, and they're flying around through space.
Is that data?
Yes, that is data. Actually, there is order. Doesn't it? It's just an easier just like distances from the camera, so it looks a little distorted as to how they are. But those are big chunks of fluffiness coming off. Before we do this, though, we're going to distribute everyone is going to get a pair of 3D glasses here. I have the 3D glasses here. I promised everyone would have a pair, and I went to go get them. Just a moment, ma'am. Sit down, please. Whatever your name is. Just a moment. And what I have is glasses for everyone, except I couldn't find them, so I only have 6. Now, we can distribute these 6 to people here who should have it in the audience. And obviously, Jimmy, will come up here. We have to give one to Hal, just in case he's asked a question about this later. So give one to Hal, and then everyone on stage has to understand what's going on. So, Chicken, you put one on here. I'll take one. David. And I have one. That leaves 1 pair, and we're going to pick a deserving member there of the audience that have it, and that person will help us interpret that. And that now, with this last pair of glasses, it has to go to some. We can't give it to a man because a man could be colorblind, and this would not work at all. So we're going to have to give this to a woman, and the woman will be randomly picked. Her name is Sarah Goldie. Come on up.
Whoa.
Small person. Would you please come up on the stage and sit in that chair and tell us what you are seeing with those incredible technology glasses?
Blue and red. You know, doesn't that look like some kind of a elongated sheep?
Do you have the color on the right side there? Does it look 3-dimensional to you? Okay.
3D.
Alright, can I have the glasses back? There.
Whoa.
There. I'm glad that you have participated in my science experiment.
Whoa.
There. You're supposed to go, whoa, and that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Thank you, NASA. Thank you, taxpayers.
Whoa.
Thank you, Mr. Country.
Okay,
It's
Jake.
kind of like an elongated sheep, sort of.